Hi my fashion lovers, welcome again to today's tutorial. Please sit back and enjoy my video. On today's tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to make this tear dress. It's a two-step tear dress. I'll be teaching you how to do the calculation and how to get the perfect length and measurements for this dress. Please, if you have not subscribed, subscribe, click on notification button to be notified anytime I post a new video. And please like and subscribe. Ask your question in the comment section. Let's begin. Now we'll start by making calculations. We are going to start with the calculations for this dress. We are starting with the down part of this dress before we go to the upper part. We are starting with the down part, and the full length I'm working with, the full length of the dress is 46, and the half length is 17. Then you're going to take away the full length from the half length. That is, the down part is going to be 29. And you're going to add your sewing allowance. And this 29, you're going to divide it into two because you're sewing a two-step tier dress. So you divide it into two. It's either you divide it into two or you make the upper one longer and the lower one shorter, but I want to make the upper one 13 and the lower one 16. That is, in all I have 29. That is, you divide it into two because it's going to be two steps. And the upper one, the waist measurement I'm working with is 40. The waist measurement I'm working with is 40. To get the width of the first one, the measurement I'm working with is 40. That is for the waist, and I'm going to times it by 2. That will give me 8. So the width of the first one will be 80. So this 80 times 2, again you can do times 1.25, will give you 160. So the width I'm going to gather for the first one is 80, and the width I'm going to gather for the second one is double the first one, that is 160. And the length for the first one is 13. The length for the second tier is 16. If you don't understand what I just explained, please go back to it again and replay it. So to get the width of the first one, which is 80, I told you the length is 13 and the width is 80. So you're going to measure out on your fabric 80 inches. Where your 60 stops, you're going to take your tape again and measure out 20, making it 80 inches. If your fabric is not up to, you can decide to cut and join to make up to the measurement you want. So right now, I'm going to cut for the first one, measure it. This is the first one. The first one is the one that will be attached to the waist. Do not gather the down parts. Do not gather it yet. It's after you must have attached the second one. The second layer, you're going to gather it. But the first one, do not gather it. So I've gathered it. With the ruffles. Now you're going to sew it on top of the first one. You sew it on the top of the first one. Just mash it on top so that the ruffles will show. You're going to take it to your machine and match the upper one. Sew it down. After sewing it down, this is how it will look like. This is how it will look like. The ruffles is showing. And that is when you're going to gather the waist part. You gather it to your waist measurement. You gather it to your waist measurement so that you can attach it to the upper side. Then the down part, you can fold it. That is the upper part. Gather it and attach to the upper part. Now to cut the upper part, I told you that the upper part, this fabric is stretchy, so I won't be adding any darts. I won't be adding any darts. Nothing, just a basic bodice. That's what I'm going to draft. That is going to be our starting point. The bodies I'm working with is 17 inches plus 1 inch sewing allowance will make it 18. It's stretchy. Anytime you're working with a stretchy fabric, you can choose not to add any allowance at all because it's still good. I'm going to stretch out. That is for my waist and the down part. You take out your 1 inch slope, and now you're going to take your armhole. To get your perfect armhole, always divide your shoulder by 2 and add 1 inch. Divide your shoulder by 2 and add 1 inch. I'm going to mark it out. I'll be drafting the front and the back. The front and the back, they are the same. For the neck I'm taking 3 inches by 3 inches for the neck. And I will connect. Connect the shoulder. Now I'm going to take the bodice measurement like I told you. Your bust divided by 4. Your bust divided by 4. If you use the stretchy fabric, you can you can forget about adding sewing allowance. But mine is stretchy, so I'm adding just 1 inch. This is the waist. I'm taking only the bust measurement and the waist measurement. It's not a padded dress, so there's no need for all this on the bust and all of that. You connect the armhole, and that is all you need for the bodice. The only difference between the front and the back is zipper allowance. Although the dress is not going to have zipper allowance, but the way you're going to close it up, you need to add the zipper allowance to be able to close it up without touching your main measurements. Now you're going to use this to cut all your fabric. After cutting on the fabric for the front and the back, the zipper allowance, you're going to open it up. Mind you, when you're cutting for the back, you're going to put your 1 inch zipper allowance. Now you're going to take it to your machine to join. You can use your bias and finish off the neck. Use your bias, finish off the neck before joining shoulder to shoulder. Use your bias, finish off the neck, then join the two of the shoulder. After joining the two, this is what you will have. Now you're going to join it by the sides. Going to join the sides. Join the sides and open it up. Now to drop the sleeve, you're going to measure your sleeve length, the sleeve length plus 1 inch sewing allowance. This is our starting point. The cap height I'm taking is 4 inches. Your bust divided by 12 plus 1 inch sewing allowance. That is how you get your cap height. On the cap height, that is where you're going to put your sleeve, round sleeve measurement plus your sewing allowance. That is where you're going to put your, then take a mark your line and get the midpoint of the armhole and connect. This is how you draft your basic sleeve, and then you're going to take your round sleeve measurements. And then you connect. Then you cut it out and place on your fabric and cut. I'm marking on the pattern paper because my fabric, the shop won't show, so that's why I'm making use of the paper. Now you can go ahead and attach your sleeve, then attach the down part. You have joined the two sides together. Now you're going to attach it, take it to your machine and gather the upper part that you attach to the waist. Gather it and attach the right side facing the right side. The right side facing the right side, take it to your machine and gather it. Take it to your machine and gather. And after gathering, close it up at the back. And this is what you will have. Thank you so much for joining in this tutorial. Please like, comment, subscribe and share my videos. I post videos every week. Put on your notifications, also be notified anytime I post a new video. Thank you for watching. See you next time.